Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fanatic, the channel that's dedicated to the Fantasy Hub fantasy football game. My name's Matt. If you're new here, or if you're returning and you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, all the good stuff that helps the channel out. I really appreciate it. Welcome to episode 3 of my Fantasy Hub Premier League series. In this episode, I'm just going to look back on firstly game week 2, how my team did in game week 2, the points for each player, what transfers I did actually make in the end, and then look ahead to game week 3, where I'm just going to go through again my strategy and transfers who I'm looking to bring in for the next game week. So with all that said, let's get into it. So the game is now updated after game week 2 has ended. So decent week in terms of points. Got 70 points. So nowhere near as good as last week, but as I say, last week was my highest scoring ever with 111. So 70 points is about average for me, I'd say. So it's decent, but obviously you always hope for more. So a lot higher than the average overall in the game, and 118 points for somebody this week. I mean, that's an absolutely crazy score. Pleased that the overall championship position is in the top 1,000. That's pretty high. I know it's only after 2 game weeks, but still. Disappointed not to get any head-to-head winnings this week. So nobody challenged me in the game. Must have not challenged me in the game this week. So no extra money for the budget for game week 3, but I can still make the transfers that I want, and I'll go into now just in my mini league what position I'm in after game week 2. So in the official Fantasy Hub mini league, after game week 2, I'm in 69th position. Still very happy to be in the top 100 after game week 2, as I didn't have a couple of players who scored very highly, other people did. So yeah, happy with that so far. So now I'm just going to take a look at how my team did on an individual player basis and the points that I scored per player, and talk about the transfers that I actually did end up making in game week 2. So this is how my team did on an individual player basis. So again, start with the keeper first, Martinez. Much better game from him in the second game against Newcastle. So I managed to keep a clean sheet, which is very decent. And I'm going to be holding him for one more final game, which is game week 3. They've got Aston Villa. I've got Brentford. So again, I am hopeful of a clean sheet for Martinez in that one, and then the plan is to move him on from game week 4 onwards. I did have Mendy in there, but I knew that he wouldn't play, and I needed to get rid of him, which I did. Alexander Arnold, another great display, clean sheet and an assist from one of the goals. So consistent. You know what you're getting with Alexander Arnold. He's the best right back in the league, in my opinion, and he'll be going nowhere. Probably he'll be in my team unless he gets injured. He'll be in my team all season. And Luke Shaw, again, just didn't quite happen for him. He's on corners, he's on some set pieces, and yeah, just didn't manage to get the clean sheet. It was a bit of a disappointing performance overall from Man United, and he did create 2 chances, but other than that, didn't actually get any further attacking returns. So I'm going to be monitoring him, because that's 2 games now where he hasn't had a clean sheet or any attacking returns. I know it's early days, but he is an expensive defender, and if he carries on, he may be someone I need to look at moving on. I mean, Man United still have good fixtures, especially in the next two with Wolves and Newcastle. So I'll probably assess after those two games to see, because even though the fixtures after that, the three fixtures are decent, they are a little bit tougher. So I'll reassess probably after game week 5 with Shaw to see if I need to do anything with him. Then moving into midfield, I had Emiliano Buendia, again, a really disappointing show from Buendia. He has been disappointing in the first two games, which I thought would have been relatively easier than for Aston Villa. But he's just not shown much so far. No attacking returns. I will be holding him for one more game, the game against Brentford, but then he'll be out of my team, the same as Martinez. Jota, again, really good display from Jota. Got another goal. He created 2 chances. Very, very forward thinking player. So yeah, happy to keep him in for game week 3. With KDB not starting, it was my intention to always bring in an attacking player for Man City. I had wanted to bring in KDB, but because he wasn't starting, he didn't even play the game. He's injured, so I brought in Fernando Torres, who he did look lively. He was on, he had one goal chalked off from a VAR decision. It's just a bit disappointing when a team wins 5-0 and you manage to pick the one attacking player that doesn't get on the score sheet or any attacking return. So it is frustrating. But going forward, unless Man City sign a striker, I think Torres will play predominantly as the number 9 up front. So again, one to monitor. I'll keep him in the team for the next couple of weeks and see how he does. Mo Salah was eventually transferred out for Torres. He was, again lively, but he didn't get any attacking returns. He had a goal ruled out offside as well. In the end, I did transfer him out because I wanted to keep Jota in because he scored, he'd get the price rise. So yeah, took Mo Salah out. Then our final midfielder was Benrahma from West Ham, who had another great game. West Ham really do look in top form at the moment. The goal and another assist for Benrahma. Created 3 chances in total. It's taken his form to another level in these first 2 opening games. And yeah, he'll be going, if he keeps this up, he'll be one of the highest point scorers in ever, along with Antonio. But yeah, happy to keep him in the team for the foreseeable because West Ham's fixtures look really good for the next few at least. Moving on to my forwards, I had Tony and Ings in from the start of the week. Again, Tony, I expected Tony to get something against Crystal Palace. Palace aren't playing particularly well at the minute. They haven't scored a goal. But yeah, it was a 0-0 disappointment really. Tony didn't. He had 5 shots, which was an increase from the first game. But then apart from that, he didn't score. He didn't assist in the 0-0 draw, obviously. So yeah, he's. Given what happened in the West Ham game, he's going to be one who's going to be leaving my team for game week 3, which I'll come on to when I review game week 3. Ings, absolutely stunning overhead kick goal, probably going to be a goal of the month contender. And yeah, happy to get another attacking return from Ings. He's ticking along nicely. Again, though, I'm keeping him in. My intention before was to keep him in for game week 3, but now with how my transfers are shaping, he may be leaving because they've got Chelsea next. So it's going to be hard for Aston Villa in that game. So I'm thinking about moving him on for game week 3, which I'll cover. Yeah. So in terms of who I brought in, so as you can see, I've already touched on Mo Salah and Ferran Torres. brought in Reguilon for Mendy, as I mentioned last week. Reguilon, he got the clean sheet against Wolves, and he's got 2 nice fixtures coming up as well against Watford and Crystal Palace next. So yeah, happy to have him in for at least the next 2 weeks. Looks a solid pick. I did end up captain Fernandez, as I explained last week. He had a great record coming into the game against Southampton, but unfortunately he didn't play well. I think Southampton just frustrated him. He just lost a bit of concentration, I think, and that led to him not doing anything in the game. So I took Fernandez out for Lukaku, who was making his debut for Chelsea against Arsenal. Arsenal in all sorts of trouble at the moment. They do not look a cohesive unit at all. The manager's tactics, you don't know what he's going to be doing from one game to the next. And Lukaku is one of the best strikers in the world. It only took him 15 minutes to score his goal, and it was a constant threat to them. I thought he would get more than one goal, in all honesty, but I'll take one goal all the same. And yeah, he looks a solid pick, definitely going forward. I probably will be transferring him out in game week 3 because of the other players that I need to bring in who are high value. And Chelsea's fixtures aren't that great coming into the next 2 or 3. So yeah, he will be going, but I'll definitely be looking to bring him in later on in the season. So 70 points overall. So bringing my overall total to 181 points, which is a very good start. How did you do in your game week 2? What did you finish on points wise? What are you on overall? Who did you bring in in transfers in game week 2? I'd love to hear in the comments. And now I'm going to look ahead to game week 3, the fixtures in game week 3, and the transfers that I'm looking to make, and who I'll be considering for my captaincy option as well. So let's get into that. Looking at game week 3 fixtures now. So got the early kickoff, Man City versus Arsenal. Again, I don't see anything other than a Man City win here, and hopefully, Fernando Torres can get some attacking returns, whether it be assists or goals against a very poor Arsenal side. So hopeful for Fernando Torres in that game. And then in the 3 o'clocks, then I have Ings, Buendia, and Martinez for the Villa Brentford game. With Ivan Toney, though, I will be transferring him out for Mikel Antonio of West Ham. This wasn't something I planned, but because Antonio has been in such good form, I just can't ignore his point scoring, and I think it will hurt me if I don't bring him in now, because the amount of people who will be bringing him in or do already have him in. If you don't have him in, he's going to be one of those players that really hurts you if he carries on scoring. So yeah, that's kind of something that wasn't in my original plans, but it's just something that, because he's playing so well, he's kind of forced my hand with that. So we're taking Toney out for West Ham, and I also have Ben Rama still as well, who is kind of his partner in crime at the minute. He's assisting him. They're assisting each other. They're linking up really well, and I just don't, just don't think you cannot not have them at the moment. So yeah, the only thing that does concern me is we don't know at the moment. I mean, there's an international break coming up, and there's a number of players who are playing in red list countries for COVID. And as it stands at the moment, if they did go and play in those countries, they'd have to isolate when they come back and miss game week 4. Antonio is one of those. I saw that on Twitter. There was a list on Twitter about which players from which team would miss out. Incidentally, by the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, please do FFB_Fanatik. I'd really appreciate a follow on Twitter. Yeah, so that's the only thing that is the slight doubt about bringing Antonio in, but it's the same with various other players as well. So just keep an eye on that situation up to the 3 o'clock kickoffs on game week 3. But as it stands at the moment, I will be transferring him in. Brighton Everton, I won't be bringing anyone in for this fixture this week, but I am definitely monitoring Calvert-Lewin, who's again had a really good start to the season. Two goals in 2 games for him. He's definitely somebody I'm eyeing up to bring in from game week 4 onwards. Newcastle Southampton, I'm not looking to bring anyone in from that game. From a Southampton point of view, I think Adam Armstrong could have a good game in here because he used to play for Newcastle. He might have something to prove, and he started on decently in the league. But no, I'm not bringing anybody in because I think there are better options this week. Norwich Leicester, I can see why people are still holding Leicester players like Barnes and Vardy for this game, as Norwich have been had a really poor start to the season. But again, I'm not looking to bring anyone in from this game. So I talked about West Ham and Palace already. I think West Ham it's just a really good fixture for West Ham. Palace, as I say, they haven't shown anything going forward so far this season. They are struggling at the start of the season, and with the form that Benrahma and Antonio are in, then I can't see anything other than a West Ham win here. Liverpool Chelsea, so got Alexander-Arnold, Jota for Liverpool, and Lukaku for Chelsea. I'm happy to stick with that. With this being a very tough game, it's going to be very tight, and I won't be looking to retransfer in Salah or anyone like that for this week. I'm happy to go with what I've got there. Burnley and Leeds, I'm not looking to bring anybody in. There's no one really who excites me in those teams enough to bring them in ahead of the next fixture that I'm going to talk about, Spurs, Watford. So I think now is the time to consider bringing Harry Kane in. He came off the bench in the last game against Wolves, played about half an hour, I believe. I think now then with him playing half an hour, he will start this game. And Spurs, I'm looking ahead to game week 4. Spurs play in the first game in the next game week against Crystal Palace. Again, a really good fixture for Spurs. But if Harry Kane does end up making the move to Man City, I'll be, I'm happy with that, very happy with that as well. Because I think if Kane does make that move, that makes Kane, pretty much essential, and everybody will want him, and his price will have probably gone up because I fancy him to score against Watford. So yeah, Kane. So Lukaku will be coming out for Kane, and then for the final game, I'll be looking to transfer. With the way the budget is, and the fact that I didn't get any extra cash from a head-to-head winning this week, I'll probably be looking to bring out Danny Ings for a Man United player, and still a bit undecided between Mason Greenwood and or Bruno Fernandez at the moment. Probably leaning towards Greenwood, as it saves me a chunk of money, over $1 million in the budget, and he started very well. Greenwood, he's got 2 in 2, but Bruno Fernandez is Fernandez. He can haul at any time. So I'm not entirely decided on whether Greenwood or Fernandez. I'll probably make my decision on the day, but just to give you an idea of where my thinking's at. And for captaincy choices, there's quite a few captaincy choices this week. You could go City against Arsenal because I expect City to knock a few past Arsenal. You could pick either Jota or Lukaku for that game. Harry Kane against Watford, and Fernandez or Greenwood. At this moment in time, I'm probably edging because I mentioned the such good form of West Ham at the moment, and Mikel Antonio in particular. He's in the form of his life. It's probably going to be Antonio against Palace, but again, there's a lot of good captaincy options this week, and I wouldn't say any of those that I've just mentioned are a bad pick. But yeah, that's how my transfer strategy is looking for game week 3. Again, let me know in the comments who do you agree with those transfers? Do you think I should be transferring in somebody else? Who are you looking to transfer in for game week 3? Let me know in the comments. Love to hear.
That brings us the end of episode 3. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, again, please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, all the good stuff that helps the channel out. Really appreciate that. Obviously, good luck to everybody who's playing the game this week. And again, if you want to check me out on Twitter, I'll leave all the details in the description of my Twitter handle. And so really looking forward to another cracking week of Premier League action. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.